name is Gilang Ramanusa, and today I will teach you about preposition. Actually, preposition is quite basic for our language because it's basic. Maybe 80% of you may be quite confusing about it and the way how you use it. So, without further ado, let's jump to the whiteboard. So, today we're gonna talking about four basic of preposition. There are at, on, in, and by. Let's jump to transportation. At is quite special for me because it's very specific, and unfortunately there are none for vehicle that you can use for at. So there are none in transportation. Now let's jump to on. On we usually use for a large vehicle, like a large way of travel. So basically, we use on for buses, train, plane, and boat. Okay, so, but there's an exception for boat. The reason is because some of us own a boat, like a smaller boat, that when it comes to that, let's say that you're rowing by yourself and someone call you, you can just say, oh hello, I'm in a boat. The reason why, because you own that thing, it's smaller. But when it comes a boat that big, that you share it with a lot of people, you can use on. It's easier that way, okay? And there's another exception for bike, okay? So, there is a bike. Like I said before, right? On usually we use for large vehicle, but bike is small. But bikes kinda have their own rules, his own rules, because you will always be sitting on the bike because you will really never in the bike. You always sit on the bike, okay? So let's jump to in today. Now, when it comes to in is only have two. There are car and taxi. So when it comes to this, mostly we use in when you own your vehicle, because you own your cars. It's not like people can just jump in and join with you, no, because you own that car. And when it comes to taxi, we use in for taxi because you pay the driver to drive you to your own destination. So basically you own the taxi, okay? As long as we pay the driver, which means that you can use in the taxi, and also you own your own, like a single person, so you can use in for taxi. Now, for buy is how you get there, so you can use for all the vehicle that have anything, right here, like bus, car, taxi, plane, or train. So you can use all of it. Basically, what's meant about this is different. So on and is on, and in is actually how you in the vehicle, okay? The way you travel. By using by, you only use it for how do you get there? How do you get to the destination? Let's say if you ask me how do I get here, I drop my bike, which means I go by motorcycle. So you can use by actually to different what kind of vehicle that you use. Okay? For location, like I was saying before, at is quite specific, so it means you always been in the same place. In the same place, you never been. It's easier to use. So let's say that let's meet at your house. It means you always be at your house. You will never be at the church. You will never be at city hall, or even you can use it for address. Let's meet me at 221B Baker Street, which means that you have to meet him or her at 221B Baker Street, not on the other address. So let's go to the on. On is actually for an area, and you always be standing on it, which means you always be on top of the area. For example, let's use say I got my bag here, and here's my phone. So let's say like I was saying before, you need to on the surface on a big area. For example, this is on the base, so my cone is on the base. As you can see, it's visible to other people, which means that people can see it. So you can use it on because you're standing on the surface. Okay. So when it comes to an in, right. So for in itself, so you can use it like something like this. Let's say there's a block right in here. Okay. So you always go inside of the box. As let's say that I'm in the room right now. So if you are surrounded by walls, ceiling, which means that you're in. So you're inside of something. In my case, I'm standing on the room, but I'm inside in the room. If you want to talking to me, you have opened the door, so you can see me in the room. So for by is actually quite similar with near and close to. Right. So actually, let's say that this is one marker and this is second marker and so the blue marker is by the black marker. So it's similar with close to or even near the black marker. You can see it because it's easier that way. Okay, it's quite easy to use. So in conclusion, it's similar with by or with near or close to. Okay. So let's jump to time. So now let's jump to preposition of time. Now for preposition of time, we use at mostly for hours, minutes, or part of days. So for example, at 4 o'clock. Another example you can use for at night. But there is an exception for night, but we're gonna jump into it later. Now let's go to on. Now you can use on for days, mostly like Mondays, Sunday, or even Christmas Day. As long as there are day, and day, you can use on. Now let's jump to in. Now when it comes to in, actually is we use in for a longer period of time. So longer period of time. Longer period, like months, weeks, years, or even centuries. For example, like in the morning, or even in the night. But for both of these, in the night and at the night, actually it's quite similar, but it has a different meaning. When it comes to at the night, which means it can be any time of night. For example, like I jogging at night, which means usually running or jogging every single night. But in the night, we're mostly talking about something in very particular or very specific day of night. So let's say that my car was robbed in the night, which means it happening during that specific of night. Now let's jump into by. By, we use it by actually for the end of time. End of time. for the end of time, which means that we use by is for the specific amount of time. Let's say that you have to finish your assignment at 6 p.m., which means you can go past that limit, and that limit is 6 p.m. And funny enough, this is the limit of lesson. For a quick recap, so we're studying about at, on, in, and by. And for transportation, there are no vehicle that you can use. And for on, you can use for bus, train, plane, and boat. And also for bike, even though it is small vehicle, bike, you always be sit on the bike, so you will never be in the bike. For in, as long as you own the car, which means that you can use in. And for taxi, because you paid the driver, we mean that you own the taxi. For by itself, which means is how you get there. Okay. For location, for at, you always be at specific location or even place. Now for on, which means you on the surface, you standing on the surface. When it comes to in, which means you go inside the box or even surrounded by wall, okay, by wall ceiling. And by is quite the same with near or even nearby, okay, close to. Now for time, we use at for hours and minute. For on, we can use it for days, and in for long period of time, and by for end of time. Maybe that's all I can tell you about this lesson today. If you have something in your mind about regarding all of this preposition, you can comment down below. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.